I'm Jami, and I'm confused and weak.
My name is Faith. I'm a Christian, and I'm a sinner.
My name's Olivia. I am a Christian. I struggle with temptation on a daily basis.
I'm Haley. I'm a Christian, and I'm a hypocrite.
I actually went to a private Christian school back in high school, so it was like a big difference coming here. And I went to a relatively small school, so it's like I didn't really encounter much, like I guess many temptations outside of like small stuff when I was in high school. So it was a big difference when I came here.
College students, like all human beings, need to know that they're cared for and that there's someone there to walk alongside of them. Someone who doesn't claim to have all the answers, but someone who knows that someone's there for them. I like to think of ministry like the story of the old farmer who was coming down the road in his wagon, and his wagon began to fall apart, and he fell into a ditch, and the next person came along and said, "You know, I really can't help you out of the ditch, but one thing I can do, I can sit with you for a while until we can get help that can lead us both out."
Is that regardless of where we come from, regardless of what we've done, regardless of who we are accepted and we are beloved by Him. In a society that likes to shun people and to separate people and to divide people, in this world nowadays you see that that's quite common. But it's a beautiful thing to know that God said that we are accepted. So all we have to do is just accept Him.
I think because I was brought up in a Christian home and going to church, it's all I ever knew, so it kind of came easy. But I do feel like if I wasn't brought up that way and I didn't have that like role model or example to live by, I don't think I would be the same Christian I am today, if one at all.
What an awful lot of students take from the faith of their childhood is a legalism, and they never really gain a sense of what the gospel's all about and the joy of understanding oneself.
I always had a really hard time connecting with what was going on at the church, what they were preaching. I guess as offensive as it sounds, I always kind of equated God kind of like Santa Claus. Like everyone else believes in him, I should probably believe in him, but at the same time I don't.
You enter into college and suddenly you're surrounded by all new people and you're trying to find your place to fit. So of course I went back into the party scene. That's where you meet the people, that's where you have fun. I mean, it's college, you're supposed to party.
I love college, hey. I love drinking, hey. I love women, hey. And I love college.
I'm in a sorority at NC State, and I think being a part of Greek life, I face many temptations such as alcohol, sex, drugs, and especially gossip. I think I find myself facing these struggles and temptations almost every day.
Freshman year when I came to college and I didn't have a church family here in Raleigh, I didn't really attend church on Sundays. I sort of fell out of that routine that I thought was being Christian. And so I guess in my mind, I thought I wasn't the best Christian anymore. And so I was faced with so much temptation and alcohol. I was exposed to people who used drugs. And about sophomore, junior year, somewhere in the middle, I just started questioning my lifestyle and questioning what I called myself as a Christian and how the Lord would actually want me to be living here on earth. And I was a hypocrite. I called myself a Christian and I wasn't acting like one.
To me, true identity cries out for understanding ourselves at our deepest center. And that's where faith comes in. Faith, to me, again, during the college years, we expect critical thinking in the classroom, and we expect critical thinking about faith, asking the hard questions. And I think college students need to realize that faith can stand up to the test of hard scrutiny.
I don't know, there's a man that goes around campus and he preaches a lot, and he'll preach about the Bible, but then he called one of my friends a whore for wearing a skirt. So I don't know, if you're preaching being a Christian, are you really gonna be you're a whore because you're wearing leggings, or I feel that's kind of hypocritical.
With students that I see now, that I'll see maybe on Facebook post a Bible verse, or tweet something religious, and then see them on the weekends going out and doing something that contradicts what they're preaching, I guess. It just reminds me of people that I've met that, I guess a good word for it would be hypocritical about it, and maybe they don't understand that they're doing it at the same time. I think when these people really are Christians or believe that they're Christians, they really have those deep down beliefs, but when they're out doing those things that contradict their beliefs, they don't really understand that it applies to them. They don't think that far into it, and it's kind of bothersome. I think if you're going to, as someone who doesn't really believe in anything, I think if you are going to believe in something and you are going to follow a set guideline for your life, that you really need to understand what you're doing and actually go through with it.
See, this was me too, but no one seemed to be on to me, acting like a church kid while addicted to pornography. See, on Sunday I'd go to church, but Saturday getting faded, acting if I was simply created to just have sex and get wasted.
The big things coming to college is the world is going to pull you to do so many different things. The drinking scene, the party scene, have sex, and then you have value and worth. It's the world tells you that if you're cool enough, if you're rich enough, if you're famous enough, if you can shoot a ball into a hoop well enough, then you have identity and worth.
For me, my search has led me in a certain direction. I just keep saying, let's constantly question, let's constantly search. To me, that's what college education is all about. Constantly asking questions, constantly searching, constantly digging deeper. And I think what college students need to know, I think that they learn, is that faith does pretty well under scrutiny.
I kind of lost connection with God. He was always in my life, but he wasn't the center of my life. And as I've come into college, I've really found that you're not going to find your place in college. It's, you find your group of friends and you find people that you can hang out with and have a good time with. But personally, I have my own personal relationship with God. And I really feel like I'm never going to be perfect. I'm going to constantly disappoint God. And I'm going to struggle with temptation constantly. And I'm going to always have that guilt over my head. But I know with God, it's all going to go away one day. And he's always on my side. And I will never be perfect, but in God's eyes, I am.
Talk about it with others who are familiar with the context of the Bible. I mean, it is like our world. Jesus didn't live in a perfect world, and we are certainly not living in a perfect world. And so we're all living testimonies, whether we are Christians or not.
Faith isn't about believing stuff for which there is no evidence. Faith is the courage to pursue the truth and to act upon the light that's given us. It's a journey that lasts a lifetime. It's not something that's ever truly crystallized. I hope that education is all about that pursuit. It's the pursuit of truth. It just seems to me that faith and the adventure of life go hand in hand. That the journey of faith lasts a lifetime. Not that we have answers, but we try to ask better questions.
it meant a lot to me when my husband we were experiencing something not too long ago that was tough on us, and he looked at me straight in the eye and said, "Pray for me." He felt that he couldn't pray himself because he wasn't good enough to pray because God didn't see him as a Christian. And I looked at him, I said, "Your prayer would be way more powerful than my prayer." He does pray now, and that, if anything, makes me have hope, makes me know that one day I can stop questioning that I can live the life of a Christian. But now, right now in my life, it's hard.
How does belief in God transform your life? What exactly does it mean for you? If faith is just proposition, then it seems to me that as soon as you pull one of the premises wrong, then the whole faith house falls like a house of cards.
It's important to remember that mistakes will be made every day, and sins will be made every day. And we will be faced with temptation, and we'll be called hypocrites, and we'll be called all kinds of names. But as people, as Christians, as individuals, we can't achieve perfection, and it's important to remember that because no one person is better than another person.
I would love to go home and say, "Mom, I'm giving my heart to Christ." But until I'm okay with it, and I'm okay with myself and okay with my lifestyle, I don't feel like I can honestly say that. I really wish I could.